For my A2 media course, I've been asked to create a music video, a promotional poster and a digipack for an artist of my choice. After scouting for an artist, I stumbled across a friend of a friend who went by the name of It Takes Two to Tango, who will later be referred to as Mark. I asked Mark if I could use his song Keep It Fresh to create a music video, and he agreed to let me do this. Mark's music is a part of a new genre called glitch hop, which is the offspring of dance music and dubstep. This genre is a very niche market, only being truly around for the past 2 or 3 years, but it is slowly growing. Some artists step into the genre but aren't completely a part of it. This genre subverts conventions and creates conventions of its own, such as most artists that are a part of the genre use or hide behind animated characters and show them to not only be logos but as the artist's identity. For example, such artists as Feed Me and Deadmau5, or spelt Deadmau5, and even It Takes Two to Tango. Deadmau5's logo has become his on-stage identity and has been converted into a helmet, which has changed over time. It's changed through patterns, colours, and even lighting in some cases. Whereas Feed Me's character has been shown using light displays with big panels of light which are in the shape of the smile of the character and the eyes. These animated characters are the reason why my music video had to be animated. I needed there to be unrealistic characters that could move around the scene and entertain people. In this sense, I have followed the conventions of my chosen genre. However, Anthony Goodwin's theories are nearly dismissed altogether in my video. There is no representation of a frontman because there is no frontman. There isn't usually a vocalist involved in this genre, meaning there are no lyrics. So that means there is no metaphoric representations shown with visual elements. My digipack and poster had to follow conventions in a very different way. Instead of focusing entirely on the glitch hop genre, I focused on conventions of the artist. In each of his 2 EPs, Mark has used his logo, his name, and the name of his EP in the centre of the album. They both match perfectly on top of each other, except for the background behind them. And we've got Keep It Fresh, which is the one I have done myself, but he made an original version back in 2012, and Return of the Funk, which was released only a couple of months ago. Now, when it came to the background, I wanted a simple design with a lot of layers to make it look very complicated, and although it was time consuming, I thought it worked very effectively. The poster was the first part of the 2 and was based on a promotional poster designed for an artist called Bassnectar, who I am personally a massive fan of. He used the same idea of a simple pattern with loads of layers. However, he also added in many layers of eyes and an elephant, which is because of his album he had just produced. Its symbol was, of course, an eye. I also used a black splattered box he had used at the bottom of his poster to advertise Mark's upcoming tour dates. Pretty much all the audience feedback was positive. Many people said that Digipack looked professional, which was very positive, especially as creating documents on Photoshop was a bit of a learning curve for me. As the poster was very similar, it received very similar comments, the only differing ones being that most people really liked the black spattered box at the bottom of the poster, which showcased Mark's tours, as I've said. They said it was a nice contrast to the colourful background. The comments on the inside of the Digipack was reasonably divided. Most people were very positive and said it was well thought out and matched my music video and matched the front cover of the Digipack and the poster as well. But there were a few comments about the fold-out booklet, especially its gatefold, which was a photo of Mark playing in Paris. All that was said was that they didn't feel that the picture was very flattering to Mark, but I explained that it was to show his energy behind his technology, rather than him dressing up and looking clean-cut and as an icon, because as I've said, his logo is his icon, not him. In the image, he is even wearing a piece of his own merchandise with the logo in black and white. The other comment was about the CD and the CD's background, how the CD has its design and the centre of the disc is the centre of the image, which is to be expected. However, when you remove the disc, the image of the boombox has been moved to show that both images are actually different. A few people thought they should match up, but I wanted the images to differ. Okay. I showed my focus group my music video, and all the responses were very positive. Although not many people I know like the genre, they still had very much love for the animation, and said it didn't look professional, but for a low budget, traditional looking animation that I went for, they thought it was very good, and most responded with, "That's sick," and "Wow."
Yeah, I actually quite like that bit.
Damn! That's so sick!
I think it's really amazing how you use music and drawing together. It's really creative, the way you animate it as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you like the type of music?
Yeah, it's actually quite nice. It's electro.
What did you like about it?
I like the colours, I like colour. The pictures were cool as well. I like the robot. It was interesting, there was lots of stuff happening. It wasn't boring.
Alright. Do you listen to this type of music?
No,
Why?
I don't like it.
But did you like the
It's
video?
too- But I like the video, which maybe might mean that I might listen to that kind of music more.
Oh, okay, that's good.
There you go, see, yeah.
Okay, did you like the music video?
I loved it.
Okay, well, so we've got a guy here. What do you think I could have done to make it better?
I don't think there's much that can be done, really. I think it's pretty damn cool already.
Okay, great. Do you listen to this sort of music?
Yeah, a lot. A lot. And I think that music videos like this accompany it really well. And the thing I loved about this was the timing with the music to the actual video.
Alright, brilliant. I also received audience feedback via Facebook. I put the finished video on Facebook, and the video was well received. Most people said their personal favourite part of the music video was my interpretation of Mark's logo, and when he began to spin around like a tornado. I was of course pleased with these responses. I've learnt from my feedback that animation is very impressive to people who have never done it before, and when it's synced to music, it's even better. I think if I was to make any changes to my project, I think it would be my attitude towards animation. Now that I've created a whole video from animation, I can understand how hard and complex particular scenes are, and next time I think I would sit down and plan each scene much more thoroughly, now that I have a further understanding of how long the animation process is. When it came to my animation, I had looked in many different areas. I looked at iClone 5, which was designed for professionals, and also the software was designed to create characters that looked a lot like the characters from World of Warcraft, which wasn't really the style I was going for. I wanted animation that looked hand-drawn. I toyed with the idea of using a program called Crazy Talk Animation, but that software created a paper cut-out effect that was pretty restrictive. Eventually I started searching on iTunes App Store, and I stumbled upon iMotion HD. Originally, I started to create stop-frame animation of static objects, slowly moving across the screen. And then I started to produce traditional animation at averagely 15 frames per second. Every piece of animation created on either an iPad, which I'm using now to record my voice, or an iPhone, and was then exported from iMotion HD to my photo stream. This allowed the videos to be taken off of the iPad or iPhone and transported to my school using the device itself and a USB cable. I then moved the data onto Sony Vegas Pro, a system I have become accustomed to as I used it for both film studies and media studies coursework last year. After moving the data across, I went on to YouTube Converter to convert Mark's track from YouTube file to an MP3 file. I of course had permission to do this from Mark. Although Mark did send me the edited version of Keep It Fresh some weeks later because he wanted a shortened down version of the track. I then set out and started the animation process. I studied different forms of animation from YouTube clips, although I was certain at the start that I wanted to either go with digital or traditional animation. I also looked at whiteboard animation, street art animation, and stop frame animation. I then focused my attention on traditional animation after figuring out that iClone 5 and Crazy Talk animation were definitely not the way I wanted to go. Whilst creating my animation, I started to look at digipacks and poster designs that matched my chosen song artist. There is a strong use of postmodernism in the whole genre of glitch hop, especially in the posters used to promote gigs or the album itself. The backgrounds of the poster often display animated characters, some of which look recycled from Disney or Hanna-Barbera. As I have said, animated characters are a very important part of the genre, but these for the characters used in But for the characters in my project, mise-en-scene was very important. My video was primarily black and white, but also takes elements from my robot characters and Mark's character. The only two uses of colours within my robots is yellow, which appears in both of their features. In R60 it is his eyes and mouth, and in the Grouch it's his crown and his mouth. R60 also has a green helmet on, which I'm quite keen to keep in, because it's kind of his identity. When it came to merging Mark's use of colour, I added the feathers shown in Mark's character's headdress, and I used each colour in the order of red, dark green, pink, blue, yellow, orange, purple and blue again. I used these colours again in the pulse shots in my video, which were used to represent the beat of the track. This use of colour was also shown in my ancillary tasks. My background pattern was built up of yellow blank sheet with orange for Mark's logo and green for my main character R60, and also the black and white, which was the rest of the video. These colours were presented as a pattern based on a doily which I found in my grandparents' house. This is also an example of postmodernism, showing something that is predominantly thought of to be represented at a dinner or a tea party hosted by an upper-class family, and it mixes with a genre that is aimed at young adults and teenagers. Overall, I feel I have done well on this project. I mean, I love music, and I especially love the dance music genre, including trap, glitch hop and dubstep. And I've always wanted to create a music video with either live action animation or traditional animation, so this project I've really taken to my heart from the start.